What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Last night, the Edmonton Oilers defeated the Dallas Stars 5-2 in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. They even the series back up at 2 games apiece as the series shifts back to Dallas for Game 5. That's been a very good series. Obviously, everyone's eyes have been on the Rangers-Florida series, which has been absolutely incredible. They have Game 5 tonight at Madison Square Garden, but that series has been just as entertaining and just as good of a series, if you ask me. Dallas got to a hot start there, went up 2-0 in the first period. First minute of the game, Wyatt Johnson had a really nice goal, had an absolute laser beam of a wrist shot, and then they kind of had a soft goal that deflected off Darnell Nurse that Skinner probably should have saved, kind of squeezed through him. And, Dallas was out shooting them, I think, 6-2 with the half point of the first period, up 2-0. And then from there, Edmonton completely just flipped the script. They got 2 goals before the end of the first period. They ended up, they had like 7 straight shots at one point. They had like the next 7 shots on goal. And then they got 2 more in the second period, pretty much dominated the rest of the way. After a hot start, Dallas just completely flipped the script. In fact, they dominated the rest of the way. So they win 5-2, and we go back to Dallas now for Game 5, the Western Conference Finals. And of course, Game 5 for Rangers Panthers tonight, 8 o'clock. And then also we'll get Dallas and Minnesota, the Western Conference Finals. Dallas wins, they'll advance and play the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. Minnesota trying to survive from there today. Don't be shocked if that series goes a little longer. I think Dallas is kind of shocked people going up 3-0. But, Minnesota's still a really good team. I picked them to win the series going in, actually in 6 games. And, obviously Dallas jumped up to a 3-0 lead. But, Minnesota's still a great team. Obviously, still Anthony Edwards, who's probably the second best player in the entire series besides Luka. A lot of people think he's going to be the face of the league. I think he will be as well. So I wouldn't cut them out just yet. But Game 5 is split between those 2 teams. Heading to the NBA, the Washington Wizards have made Brian Keefe the full-time coach. He was the interim coach after they fired Wes Unseld. Well, they moved him into the front office, and they selected the coaching search. They didn't want him anymore. I don't know much about the guy. He obviously didn't win a lot of basketball games. That being said, I don't think any coach would have if that just got off the roster that Washington's got. I want to stay within the organization. It has not been a good organization in a very long time. Again, you can't really judge the guy saying, his win-loss record as the interim coach. There's not much the guy could have done. He was thrown in there, middle season with this god-awful roster. They were the second worst team in the league. I think they were only a game or 2 better than the freaking Pistons. They had like 15, maybe 16 wins. They were absolutely atrocious. And, they have a high draft pick, but in this draft, it's not, as big of a deal. They have a second or the third pick in the draft. So, so they're kind of, up against a wall here. But he's going to be a full-time coach. See how it goes. I would have went outside the organization, hire maybe a young assistant. I think this would have been a good spot for J.J. Redick. I would take that to a Lakers job if I was J.J. Redick, for his sake. With LA, it's going to be a weird dynamic since he has the podcast already with LeBron James, and LeBron might fire him in 2 years anyway. Take a job like that. Maybe get a young assistant, first time guy what's his name, Chris King, whatever his name is in Miami. A guy like that. I know some teams have had their eye on Johnny Bryant with the Knicks. Maybe give a guy like that a shot. Somebody else, Charlotte Wade took a job in Charlotte, would have been a good hire for them. If you want to give Darvin Ham another chance, maybe, which I'm not against. Someone like that I would have probably went something like that, but they give him Brian Keefe a shot, I guess. And speaking of NBA head coaches, Los Angeles Clippers have extended Ty Lue, giving him a 5-year extension worth $70 million. That's, to me, an extreme overpay. Ty Lue, to me, is an overrated coach. I don't think he's a horrible coach, but to give him $70 million is a big stretch. I wouldn't have brought him back. I mean, to not even get to a 7th game against Dallas. Look, Dallas is a very good team. I picked Dallas to win the series in 6. Mainly because that team is so old. Kawhi's about 33, 34. Harden's around there as well. So is Westbrook. Westbrook doesn't have much left. Harden's not near the same player he once was. And, Paul George is a great player, but to me, he's a little overrated. He's a very skilled player. Very good player, but he's never been that great in the playoffs. He's got a little better than his playoff P moment when they blew up the 3-1 lead to Denver in the conference semifinals a few years ago, but still is not great for a guy who's supposed to be a superstar, be one of the 20, 25 best players in the league, guy who's a perennial all-star, all-NBA caliber player. Not good enough. Kawhi's always hurt. Harden doesn't really have much left. Russell Westbrook doesn't really have anything left. So it's not all on him. This experiment with Kawhi and Paul George is a complete failure. It's honestly one of the biggest failures in NBA history. It's as big as maybe like when the Lakers had LeBron, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and Carmelo Anthony, though Carmelo was at the end of his career, and they didn't even make the play-in. No. It's as big of a failure as the Nets having Kyrie, KD, and Harden and winning one playoff series. Not quite as big as that. But it's got to be up there. You have Kawhi and Paul George together. You spend all that money, give up 5 first round picks, you give up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to get Paul George. And can these Clippers fans and Paul George himself please stop calling that trade even? No. You gave up one of the best players in the NBA. You gave up a guy who arguably is top 5 in the NBA. I thought should have won MVP this year. Arguably the best point guard in the league. For any other guy, Danilo Gallinari, who was still a good player at the time. He helped OKC Thunder for a couple of years before they let him go. And 5 first-round picks for a guy named Paul George, who's a very good player, but not as good as what Shai has become, got injury concerns, and he's been able to suck around one time. He's been with the Clippers. He was been able to suck around in his career twice. He went to the Eastern Conference Finals that 1 year. In 2014, Indiana lost in 7 to Miami. And then a couple of years ago, they were in the conference finals. Besides that, Paul George's never been out of the second round. I just don't understand why they keep running this thing back. And they want to resign Paul George and Harden and just keep running this stuff back. I just don't understand what they're doing. The guy's an overrated coach. When he hasn't had, a super team with, LeBron, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love, I don't give him that much credit for that championship. He hasn't been past the second round. Maybe he was in the conference finals that one time. Experiment has failed. I don't know why they keep running it back with this team and with this coach. So, I just don't get it. All right, so obviously, NFL training camp is about probably now it's May 30th. Probably a little over a month away, maybe a month and a half away. But with that, also we have guys trying to get new contract extensions, and somebody did. Dolphins All-Pro receiver Jalen Waddle has received a 3-year, $84.7 million extension with $76 million guaranteed. Waddle's obviously a phenomenal player. To me, a top 10 receiver in the game, maybe the best wide receiver 2 in the entire NFL. He'd be a 1 on a lot of different teams. He just plays with maybe the best receiver in the NFL, and Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is definitely a top 3 receiver in the game. Gets him $28.2 million. He's a stud. Tyreek Hill did say a year or 2 ago that he plans to retire when his contract runs out. I think it's after next year or the year after. I'm not sure. I never put too much stock into that. At the end of the day, first of all, if the guy is still top of his game, he's at the top of his game, he's a top receiver in the game, possible future Hall of Famer. Also, money talks. If, Miami or someone offers him, $100+ million contract, if he can still play, I don't know why you turn that down. So, but they do have to prepare that the guy, when his contract runs out in a year or 2, will decide to retire. So, and so you have a young stud in Waddle. Now you now have under contract for another 3 or 4 years at least. Yes, you're paying top dollar for him, but you gotta pay that kind of money for a player like Jalen Waddle. So I think a very good move by the Miami Dolphins. Also, the Jets signed Tariq Cohen. This kind of came out of left field. He's a former All-Pro kick returner with the Bears. He's really fast. He was an okay running back. Wasn't the best running back in the row. He was a fine change of pace back because of how small he is. You need like a short yardage guy that bounces on the outside. He was fine as number 2 back, but he was a phenomenal kick returner because of how fast he was. But he's been out of the league for a couple of years now. I think he might have retired, but he's a comeback. Jets signed to a 1-year deal. Now Breece Hall's their top back. But you look at the rest of the running back room. Obviously, you don't have Dalvin Cook anymore. Obviously, you trade Michael Carter away last year. You have Izzy Abanaconda, who last year in preseason played really well. Didn't do a whole lot in the regular season, but I think deserves a spot on the roster, at least. The rest of the running back room isn't. They also drafted that kid Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin, who I like. But I don't see why Cohen can't make the team as their second or third running back. Their return last year. It was Xavier Gibson, who looked really good in preseason. That's why he made the team. And he had that game-winning punt return touchdown in overtime against the Bills, which was incredible. But the rest of the year, I didn't think was great. He had a couple of bad fumbles. Overall, I didn't think was great. You want to keep him on the roster for depth. Fine, as a sixth receiver. You look at the receiving core. Obviously, if Gary Wilson's a star, you bring in Mike Williams. You draft Malachi Corley. Alan Lazard, assuming he makes the team, he still has a big contract. You want to keep him as the 5th or the 6th receiver, fine. But to me, Tariq Cohen, if he can still play, is a better option as a returner than Xavier Gibson. So, I'm sure he's not making a lot of money. I think it's worth a shot. If he goes out there in camp and just shows that his burst is gone and has nothing left, you cut him. You have enough depth at running back to deal with him. You could deal with Xavier Gibson returning kicks for another year. But if he shows he can at least be a game-changing kick returner, throw him on the roster as the 3rd or 4th back. You don't have to use him in the running game at all, or even in the passing game, or at all besides returning kicks. Throw him back there and see what he can do with returning kicks in the regular season. See what happens. Last really good kick returner just where we had was Andre Roberts, who was when he was the first team All-Pros kick returner. That was 5 years ago, and they didn't even re-sign him. Also, they had a truly game-changing returner. So I think it's worth a shot. Thankfully, the charges were dropped against Scottie Scheffler. This is phenomenal news. The guy didn't do anything wrong. That was just kind of embarrassing for the Louisville Police Department. Yes, it was a big miscommunication, but the guy is the best golfer in the world. His car says official sponsor of the PGA. You should probably take a wild guess that he probably is playing in the PGA Championship since it's the only thing going on at the Valhalla Golf Course. But actually, the officer who made the arrest, Brian Gillis, released a statement. I'm going to read it off my phone. This was his statement. He released it yesterday. As a tragic incident occurred, and the family of Mr. Mills remains in my family's thoughts and prayers. That was memorable. About an hour before he was arrested. Scheffler was arrested. He was arrested about 6 a.m. About 5 a.m. Someone who worked at the course, I think, or a concession worker, they were hit by a shuttle bus and were unfortunately killed. It was a very, very terrible accident. The next sentence he said was, "This was a chaotic situation for everyone involved. Ensuring the safety of everyone in the vicinity was my utmost priority. Mr. Scheffler and I both agree that there will be no ill will over this going forward. Instead of giving a negative public reaction, just to speak with dignity, humility, and respect. My family and I appreciate that. He was very classy, Scottie Scheffler, after he finished his round that day. Then said, it was unfortunate and disturbing to hear Steve Romine, I think it's the name. That's Scottie Scheffler's lawyer, was very outspoken about this, of course. Contrary today claiming that a false arrest was made for him to challenge my honesty and integrity. I'd be surprised and disappointed if Mr. Scheffler actually had any part in making those statements. To be clear, I was drugged by the car. I went to the ground. I received visible injuries to my knees and wrist. I'm going to recover from it, and I will be okay. This is the extent of my commentary on this incident. The reality is that there are more important things in the world right now than the back and forth over this. A person lost his life that day, and a family lost a loved one. At the end of the day, I take pride working for the people of the community to preserve our safety. I've spent 2 decades trying to protect the city through some challenging times, and I would like to keep doing so without the distractions plus with a series of events. I wish Scottie Scheffler and his family all the best. Sincerely." He signed his name. Then he said, "P.S. This was actually pretty funny. Yes, the department has us buying freaking $80 pants to those concerned. They were indeed ruined, but Scotty, it's all good. I never would have guessed I'd have the most famous pair of pants in the country for a few weeks because of this. Take care, be safe, Brian." So overall, though, it was a very classy statement by the officer. At the end of the day, he was just trying to do his job as a police officer. He's trying to keep people safe. Without police officers, it would be absolute chaos. So thank you to him for his service for however long he's been in law enforcement and been a member of the Louisville Police Department and just the police force in general. I still think this is just a complete embarrassment for that police department, to be honest. Scottie Scheffler thought he was doing what he's told. That's why when he tried to stop him, he kept driving. He I guess he bumped into the officer. And I guess he ripped the guy's pants, and the guy went to the ground. He got banged up a little bit. He had to get checked into the hospital, and he was tended to for a few minor injuries. That being said, kudos to both Scottie Scheffler and Officer Brian Gillis for handling this with the class that they handled it with. And I thought that was pretty funny at the end that that Scottie ripped his pants. He said, "Yeah, he had the most famous pants in the world." That was pretty funny. So I thought it was a pretty solid statement, a pretty classy statement. Although I think with a false arrest, I mean, the lawyer wasn't wrong. He's got to stick up for his client. That's why he's being paid probably millions of dollars for, considering who his client is. At the same time, the guy's just trying to do his job. I thought that was a pretty lucky statement. Staying with the topic of golf, so Roy McIlroy made some comments. He talked about PGA Tour and Live. I'm sure you could have guessed it as soon as the first sentence that came out of my mouth. Of course, he was very, very against Live Golf for a long time. Then a while back, a bunch of months ago, he's kind of like at peace, and he kind of said, "Yeah, I kind of misjudged," which I think he was just trying to backtrack. And apparently he was taking a step back when it came to the divide that there was between the PGA Tour and Live Tour. His statement: "In hindsight, I wish I hadn't gotten as deeply involved in it, and I've articulated that. I hold no grudge. I hold no resentment over the guys that chose to go and play on Live. Everyone's got their own decisions to make, and everyone is and have the right to make those decisions. The whole thing is, I'm just disappointed to what it's done to not to the game of golf. Game of golf will be fine, but men's professional golf and this sort of divide we have at the minute." He said back in January that he was too judgmental of players who left to go to the Live Tour. And then he also said, "Hopefully we're on a path to sorting that out and getting that to come back together. I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, but in hindsight, I wish I hadn't gotten as deeply involved as I have." Look, this guy for months has been trying to backtrack on everything he said. I personally don't give a damn. I never liked the guy. He's a great player, one of the best players in the world. He's won 4 or 5 majors, hasn't won one in years, but still, he's a great player. I think he won a tournament a few weeks ago, or maybe a little over a month or two ago. He's a great player, but to me, the guy's a pretentious douchebag. I know he's saying I was too judgmental, and saying, looking back, I shouldn't have gotten as involved. No kidding, dude. Look, the dude's trying to backtrack. I think his lawyer, his agent, or his PR guy told him back in January, "Hey, with this merger coming with all the attention, you should probably backtrack." And so he did, and I guess he did some interview, and he said something again. So I appreciate him trying, I guess, to like, hey, I messed up. But at the same time, I still don't think the guy likes Liv. I still think he has a little bit towards some of the guys. You've seen him get. He had the one time, I think it was maybe at the Ryder Cup in the parking lot. He got into an argument with someone from the Liv Tour, a player who was on the Liv Tour. So I mean, I never liked that. I didn't think I was a complete asshole and a douchebag. So apparently, in hindsight, should have gotten more involved. And, well, in hindsight, you should have shut your damn mouth in the first place. So those are my thoughts on that. That. The only other thing I want to talk about is the New York Mets. What is going on? This team is freaking horrible. I have never seen a team lose games the way they have. They're both blowing games left and right. They're blowing saves, left and right. They blew like 3-0 against the Dodgers last couple of weeks. They're blowing every game. The bullpen's been floating left and right. And it's like little things like not advancing the runners, not feeling bunts cleaning up, being able to get bunts down cleanly. Just horrible, horrible, horrible. They're the most unclutched team I've ever seen with runners on base. They're just terrible. And then you see all these guys saying, "Oh yeah, we're not good right now, but we're a better baseball team than this." We're not playing up to our standard. No kidding. But what the hell are you gonna do about it? All these guys, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Lindor, Amadino, all these guys have said things like that. I think DJ Stewart said something at one point. Reed Garrett said something at one point. Every single one of them. Remember when Tommy Family in the last year came out and said that was the least hardworking group I've ever been a part of? And all of us I was pissed off about it. He was 100% right. This is basically the same group. Like this, it's just terrible. But it's not David Stern's fault by any means. Like I've said several times over the last week or two, overall he did a good job this offseason. The Mets were handcuffed by the horrible contract ability up like it out to Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander and all these guys. I don't think it's Steve Cohen's fault. Yes, he hired Epler in the first place. But he tried to get president of baseball operations. He tried to go after a lot of big names. None of them wanted the job. A few of them were, they were under contract, so the art teams blocked them from even interviewing. So he needed somebody. So he went out and got Billy Epler. Obviously, it didn't work out. He's tried. Overall, he's done a great job. No, but stop! Please don't compare him to Will Ponds. He's looked at all the money he spent. He offered Yoshina Yanamo $325 million. The same contract that Dodgers offered him. Yanamo just chose to sign with Dodgers. It is what it is. The guy's tried. And it's not Coach Mendoza's fault either. The team he was handed is not that good. Overall, I think he's done a pretty good job. He's tried making adjustments with the lineup. Brandano hasn't, half the standards. He's tried moving, Lindor into the leadoff hole, moving Nimmo into a 3-0. He's tried moving Alonso into a 2-hole. Last game, he put Martinez in the 3-0. He hit Vientos cleanup. He's doing his best. You got all these, high-priced guys not hitting. Brandon Nimmo's on a $160 million contract. He's supposed to be a guy hitting 280 with a 380 on base. He's hitting 250. Lindor's supposed to be the best shortstop in the game. He's hitting 190. Alonso's supposed to be the best power hitter in the game. He's hitting 240. He's not getting it done. Jeff McNeil's supposed to be one of the best hitters in the game. He's hitting like 220, 230. Sloan Martin's supposed to be a guy that hits 280 with 20 homers. He's hitting like 230. The guy's been horrible. The only guys who have been consistently good offensively have been JD Martinez, who obviously only came up about a month or so ago because they signed him right before spring training ended. Mark Vientos, who they called up 2 weeks ago, and Harrison Bader, who's only there for his defense. He's actually been hitting very well recently. He's hitting 270, 280. Francisco Alvarez is hurt. The guy's obviously going to be a stud, and he was playing really well. He was probably their most consistent hitter at the time. He's hurt. He's been out for the past month or so. They were 11-8 with him in the lineup. Since then, they're 11-30 or something like that. He sticks up for his players, which I like. The guy's trying. The rotation isn't that good. The bullpen's terrible. Diaz can't get out of his own way. Now he's hurt. Brooks Ralby had Tommy John, so he's out for the year. Now Reed Garrett has been phenomenal all year, struggling. Ottavino is struggling now. Deekman's struggling. The bullpen's all of a sudden just falling apart. At this point, he doesn't have a closer now. All he can do is flip a coin and hope. He tried running Adam Ottavino out there. It hasn't worked. He tried running Reed Garrett out there. Now that's not working. There's nobody else on this roster who has any closing experience or has any potential of possibly being a solid closer. now or in the future. There's not much the guy can do. But these players, they gotta step up. Like, and the whole, I gotta talk Horde a little bit. What the hell? So the guy's pitching in the 8th inning. They're down 9-3 in the 8th inning. Yeah, the guy throws the ball. He starts yelling at the third base umpire. The third base umpire loses his mind, throws him out. I think it was a bit of a quick hook. It's 9. You're that team. The Mets were down 9-3 in the 8th inning to the league's best team, or on paper at least, from the Dodgers, and they're one of the worst teams in the league. They've won one series. The worst team in baseball over the last month. They're now 10 games under 500, and the guy, he gets ejected. Mendoza comes out, just like, dude, just come on, dude, let it go. You've been ejected. Get out of the game. This game's over. And then the guy, throws his glove into the stand. I've never seen that. I've never seen that at the major level. I've never seen it in Little League. I played Little League from when I was 9 till I was about 15. I umpired youth baseball, all levels of youth baseball. I even did adult leagues umpiring when I was a little bit younger. Started when I was, I think, my second year of high school into about through my second year of college. During the summers, it was a little part-time gig. And I've never seen that in the adult league. I've never seen it at high school level, at the college level. I've never seen it in youth baseball. I've never seen it in freaking Little League and in T-ball, much less the major league level. Not the minor level, nowhere. Then after the game, right, so originally everyone thought he said, I'm the worst, I'm on the worst effing team in the league. He wasn't careful. He did say, I've been the worst effing teammate in the league. But then when Steve Gelbs, who of course is the sideline guy for SNY, I think one of their reporters, he just always does the help one of the journalists who asked some of the questions in the post game. He asked him to clarify. He's like, did you say you're on the worst team? And he's like, well, yeah. I don't think he was saying that's what I said. He was saying, he basically said, I mean, what I said was I'm the worst team, but I kind of am on the worst team. Look, he's not wrong. The Mets suck. They are one of the worst teams in the league, and over the last month, they have been the worst team in baseball. But don't say that to the New York media. Also, dude, you threw your glove into the stand, and he doubled down on that. He did not regret that. What is wrong with you? Do you need anger management? What kind of this man-child are you? But he was DFA'd within hours after that press conference. He even said at press conference, I don't know if I'll be on the team. After he threw his glove, they probably Mendoza or David Stearns called him to his office and was like, yeah, we're probably going to DFA you. We'll confirm by tonight or tomorrow morning, but expect to be DFA'd. So maybe he either just, maybe he already knew he was getting DFA'd, so he just didn't give a crap anymore. Or maybe he's just so tired of the Mets. I mean, the offense just drove him mentally insane. So he was like, well, what can I do to get out of here? So to get me off this team? He figured, all right, let's throw a fit. Get thrown out. I'll throw my glove into the stand, and then I'll shit on the team in the press conference. Maybe. Metro Sobe got Ram Leaders just going crazy. So, absolutely bizarre. I've seen anything like that before. But he is off the team, and the Mets absolutely suck. Right. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm not sure if I'll do a podcast tomorrow. Saturday, I'm moving back up to Connecticut for full time for the next year or so. So I'm not sure if I'll do a podcast tomorrow, but and I don't think I'll do one Saturday. I'll say never do one Saturday, so you most likely won't see me until Monday again. I'll try to squeeze one in tomorrow, but I won't have time. So good chance next time you'll see me is Monday. Maybe in the studio. I got to see if I have access to it this summer. See what happens. But until next time, so long. Have a great day.